Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Here are 10 ways that ChatGPT can help you write stories. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So you may have already heard that ChatGPT can write stories for you. You can just give it some information and it will write a short story. Of course, this has lots of teachers concerned, but in reality the stories it produces aren't necessarily that good and can easily be seen as something generated by AI. However, what ChatGPT does very well is work as a writer's assistant. In several different ways it can help you produce stories that you actually write, but ChatGPT kind of acts as another person that you could ask for ideas and help. So let's start with something simple, like just creating some characters. You can ask it something like this. So you can see here I've got some quick, easy characters. And of course I could have asked for a different story type, a different number of characters, and all of that. Another thing you could do is have it generate a plot suggestion for you. Of course, it'll probably be best if you modify that plot to fit your needs, and of course you're going to actually have to write the story. Now here's where it gets really interesting. You can suggest variations and see how that will affect the plot. You can ask it for other alterations as well. Like for instance, what if the story took place in a different setting, like say in a hospital? Or what if it was an episode of one of your favorite TV shows? Now in addition to generating characters, ChatGPT can generate objects. So for instance, if you were writing an adventure story and you wanted your adventurers to be able to find all this treasure, you can have ChatGPT suggest ideas. Or maybe you just need to come up with some fictional locations for the characters to travel through. You could also use ChatGPT as a substitute for research for some basic facts. Like for instance, say you want to name some characters in your story, but you want to make sure the names are historically accurate. Or your characters simply need to travel from one point to the other and you want to make sure you get the times right. Sometimes you may want to fill in your story with descriptions of things that aren't necessarily important to the plot, but it's nice to have a little bit of a description in there to color in the picture for the reader. So you can see how I can lift a sentence or two from that to use in your story. Or maybe something like this. Now while having ChatGPT write stories for you, especially if you're in school, isn't a good idea, you can have it create a basic framework and then draw on that framework to write your own story. A lot of times you can pick famous characters in books or TV shows and use that as a basis for a story, like this. Another thing you could do is give your story new direction. So say you've written part of a story, but you decide that you want to take it somewhere else. You can give ChatGPT a writing prompt and see where it takes you. And you can always ask it to try again. Or you can use an even longer prompt like this and see what it comes up with. Then you can ask it to modify it. Now most of these cases so far you're getting some information from ChatGPT and then you're doing the writing yourself. But the opposite of that is to take something you've already written and ask ChatGPT to make it a little bit better. So maybe something like this where you're asking ChatGPT to take a sentence and punch it up a bit. Now of course there are many different writing styles and you yourself as a writer may actually have different styles that you use. You can ask ChatGPT to take something that is produced for you or something that you've written and rewrite it in a different style. For instance, I'll just continue this right here and ask it to give me the same thing but using a very specific writing style. Okay, so I've saved the best for last. This one isn't just something you can use when writing, but also something you could use for just general entertainment. You could have ChatGPT act as a character in a story and you can interact with that character. So take a look at this prompt. I'm asking ChatGPT to be a character in a story and also generate the story, but not just give me the text back. After I set this up, I'll be able to have a conversation where ChatGPT plays one character and I play another. And I can see where it goes. So now I could just ask questions. And I can continue the story. And you could just continue from there. I wonder how far you could get with this story, and if you used other characters and ideas I wonder how far those will go as well. But when you're done you can take the text there and write the story up if you like. So I hope this gives you some great ideas of how you can use ChatGPT as a writing assistant. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.